Voters are going to be heading to the polls today, the first big test of the power ahead of the 2024 presidential election with a slew of statewide and local races across the country. We want to bring in Pollster and political strategist Frank Luntz to weigh in on the key races today and themes to watch for in terms of trying to extrapolate what they mean for next year. So what's the top of the list for you?
Turnout.
Turnout.
Who's participating? Are Republicans going to the polls, or are Democrats particularly active? I'm watching Virginia because that could have an impact on the presidential race. Do Republicans, are they able to recapture the legislature? Virginia used to be a leaning Republican state. Then it turned purple. Then it turned leaning Democrat. But it's possible that under Youngkin, Governor Youngkin, it may be back with the GOP. We got to find out tonight.
Are you a believer, by the way, that if it is a big Republican sweep in that state, that Youngkin could actually turn around and try to run for president?
I think he's looking at it. He's making phone calls. I know that people here in this town are talking about it. But
is it just people in this town that are talking about it, or is it all over the country that they're talking about it?
Truth is, not many people know him.
Okay.
We know him. We have come to understand what he has done in Virginia, but it's not a nationwide phenomenon. And I wonder if it wouldn't be similar to Rick Perry when he jumped in as governor of Texas. Boomlet started. He went to the top of the polls within 2 weeks, and then he petered out.
Can I ask you about Kentucky?
Sure.
It's a conservative place. Andy Beshear is very popular, but he has a Republican legislature, so he hadn't been able to do any Democrat things. So he remains popular, but I hear this is too close to call, and the other guys are really attractive candidate for Republicans.
Well, it reminds me of Massachusetts, where Democrats always controlled the legislature, but the Republicans kept the governorship. The public seems to like Republicans to lead and Democrats closer to the people. And Kentucky's an example of a state that should be in the Republican camp, but isn't in these statewide races.
He's pretty popular this year, but how close is it? Have you seen the numbers? I heard it's like too close to call right now.
I believe that Beshear gets reelected.
You do?
What did you make of the New York Times Siena poll over the weekend?
It started a food fight internally, politically. And it's not just that Biden is losing to Trump in 5 of the 6 key states. Those are all states that Biden won in 2020. And they're all states that Trump now looks like not only is he competitive, but he's winning. 2 things to point out. Number one is that young voters who should be backing Biden by 60-40 aren't. And the second issue is that if you put Nikki Haley in there or some other Republican, they do even better than Donald Trump. It is not the Republican strength. It is Democratic weakness. And I don't understand for the life of me why Chuck Schumer and why Hakeem Jeffries do not go to the White House and say, sir, you've been a great president, you've done a good job for us, but it's time to move on.
David Axelrod did say that.
He did say that, but he's from the Obama administration.
Which is basically a different party.
And so he won't be heard.
No love lost.
And none of the influential, the power brokers within the Democratic Party have the guts.
Well, who is the candidate then on the Democratic side that you believe would be competitive with Trump?
Most of them.
Your argument is that any of them would do as well or better?
Mitch Landrieu, in charge of infrastructure, one of the best retail politicians ever, the former mayor of New Orleans. Cory Booker, the senator from across the river.
Spartacus.
He's got an amazing rap. He's got an amazing...
He does. In person, unbelievable. You really feel special.
I'm not going to disagree with those things. The question is, you're in the polling business.
Yes.
Do you think those people win against President Trump if they were in that role?
Yes, I do.
And how does that all work in terms of how you would effectuate this transition effectively? I mean, you effectively have to have Biden say, I'm not doing this.
Right, and you have to
step
do
down.
it
Then tell me how you're going to work or deal with the vice president.
He would have...
This is a very complicated
how long does he doesn't have
2-step, 3-step situation.
It has to happen right now because states are closing up their ability to get on the ballots. So Biden would have to leave in the next three or 4 weeks. We agree on this.
Okay.
And
so
Harris,
we can all agree that this is not going to happen, right? Unless you really think this is happening?
No, I don't think it's happening. I think it could happen. And if I was a Democratic strategist like Axelrod, I would insist on it. Because Joe Biden is not going to be the same guy a year from now that he is today. And the reason why people are turning against him because of age is not because of next year. It's 4 years down the road. Joe Biden would be 86 as president.
What about Andrew's question, though? Is it Kamala Harris? Is it somebody else? How in 3 weeks you not only convince him to step down and then find out who the nominee is?
She's polling higher than he is. Explain that.
For the first time ever.
No, but explain that, because that goes completely counter to the narrative.
In a word, age.
It's the negatives, not the positives.
Yes, it's not her strength, it's his weakness, and it's getting weaker and weaker. And he's got one economic issue, a major economic issue, which is inflation. It's still an annoyance, it's an irritant, because it affects every single individual. And Biden can't get around that. That he might be able to fix, but you can't fix age.